7 years of prison to a wife for killing her husband with a knife stabbed to the heart while being drunk. 7 years of prison for the father who killed his daughter and threw the body into the river due to a family dispute. 7 years of prison for intentional vehicle manslaughter over drinking companion. And 7 years of prison for Alexandra Skochilenko, who is a political activist from St. Petersburg. In March 2022, she replaced price tags in the supermarket with an anti-war messages. And for this, she got 7 years in jail. Alexandra Skochilenko was born in St. Petersburg, in the city of intelligentsia, and in a city where there are a lot of artists and a lot of people who are into art. Alexandra was born in 1990, so it means that she was 31 at the moment she committed felony, and right now she is 32. Once Russia started its war against Ukraine, Alexandra could not stand aside and not to claim her anti-war position. This is why already on March 4th, she got arrested at one of the anti-war protests in St. Petersburg. She was released later, but she didn't stop trying to change opinion of ordinary Russians that this war is not right. There is a popular organization among female anti-war protesters which is called Feminist Anti-War Resistance, and they offered one of the ways to show your protest against the war, a so-called quiet protest. And one of the forms was basically trying to replace price tags in the supermarket and in grocery stores for different products and trying to say the numbers related to the war. For example, here, one of the price tags saying Russian conscripts are being sent to the war against Ukraine, and the price of this war is the price of our children. Or another one, Russian army already destroyed more than 20 hospitals in Ukraine, and there is a price which is basically 20 rubles 90 kopecks, which is Russian cents. A Russian army bombed an art school in Mariupol where approximately 400 people were hiding from shellings. Well, actually, there were a bunch of kids in this art school, and there was a whole sign saying that there are children inside of it. So, and it was made so big so it would be visible from like satellites or from the drones, because, usually Russian army use drones to coordinate its artillery attacks, and it still did not stop Russian army from targeting the civilian target. Russian army destroyed 80% of the city of Mariupol. Why? And here on the price tag we see 80 rubles. During the Second World War, because of Nazis, approximately 8 to 10 millions of Ukrainians died. How many more Ukrainians will die because of Russians? Here we see it says 4 rubles. And 4 rubles stands for 4 years. It says, my great-grandpa participated in the Second World War for 4 years, and he did not want Russia to become another fascist state and to attack Ukraine. Putin lies to us on TV for 20 years, and the result of this lie is our preparedness to justify the war and pointless death. If you want to support what I do, there is a Patreon page where I've updated different categories. For example, there is a category of Gopnik, which gives you access to live chat with me, early access to new videos, private live streams for patrons once a week, and members' names and credentials after every video. In the second category, which is called Intelligentsia, you get all the same perks as a Gopnik, but at the same time, you get access to exclusive content, links to the articles I found interesting about Russia, and sometimes translations from Russian to English. If you decide to go for an oligarch type of subscription, you'll get all the perks from Intelligentsia and Gopnik tiers, but at the same time you'll get the possibility to have a personal call from me for at least an hour to discuss Russia, Russian politics, life, or anything not related on those topics. Also, you'll get a personal video, thank you, and also a postcard with me with some kind of words. You would also get an opportunity to recommend a choice of topic for a video related to Russia. The link to the Patreon page is in the description below. Those price tags kind of inspired Sasha Skochilenko, and that's why on the 31st of March, she went to her local supermarket, grocery store in her neighborhood, and she placed 5 of the price tags stickers instead of the real price tags. The same day, a 76 years old retiree, Galina Baranova, came to the store buying her groceries, and she've seen those anti-war messages on the price tags, and she got nuts, and of course she went to the police with this. And already 11th of April, Alexandra Skochilenko was already arrested by the police. This is what Alexandra said herself about her arrest. I decided to take part in a grassroots campaign, An unknown person created a brilliant template of price tags that looked like the real ones. Various unfamiliar people participated in such a campaign. I also printed a template, cut out the price tags, and placed 5 of them, mixing the text from the entire template like a deck of cards. These 5 price tags ended up determining my fate. In the middle of May 2022, the 76 retiree, Galina, Baranova, whatever her name is, she decided to explain why did she go to the police with this. Slander, because I'm very concerned about Russian soldiers in Ukraine. I watched the news about it. Galina Baranova basically got offended because of 5 price tags, basically saying truth about this conflict, and she got offended because of that. So once Alexandra was arrested, she was facing from 5 to up to 10 years of jail for telling the fakes about the Russian military. We know about at least 6 cases like this in Russia since the start of the war, but exactly in the case of Sasha, of Alexandra, it was stating that one of the motives of her action was a political hate towards Russian Federation. So basically, if you are against the war, it means that you hate your country. It means that you are not a real patriot. That's what Putin wants you to think again. There were 29 court hearings about this case, and actually yesterday, 16th of November, she got 7 years of jail for telling the fakes about the Russian military. My case is so funny and strange that it was initiated on April 1st. That's what Sasha said. Even the cops understood that this case just doesn't make sense. For example, the first investigator who was basically leading this case of Sasha in the police, he just basically quit his job. And that's what he said about this. I did not come to work in the investigate committee to deal with things like what happened to Sasha Skochilenko. So he gave up the case, he quit his job, even though if he would continue to do that, he would get such a high promotion, because this is such a politically important case. Sasha herself said that she finds her investigator, like ex-investigator who quit, to be a really noble person and a really brave person. I guess a lot of you've heard about the conditions in the Russian prisons, but I just have to tell you what happened to Sasha while she was in prison. Well, firstly, she suffers from a lot of diseases. Like she has some heart problems, she cannot eat gluten, food with wheat inside. And of course, she wouldn't get an access for gluten-free food in Russian jail. It's not Sweden, okay? Secondly, sometimes she would be refused to recharge her thing for her heart, basically, make sure the heart is okay. She would get refused in batteries to recharge it. She can die because of this in any moment. As I mentioned before, Sasha is an artist, and she used to paint and draw a lot. And she actually, while being in jail, she produced a series of comic books. You can actually find them, the links are going to be there in the description below. But the security guards wanted to make her life in prison as much as uncomfortable as it could be. That's why they started to take her pencils so she wouldn't be able to draw or to paint. And they would say, well, you are only eligible to have a black pen in a jail cell, not anything else. Then she would not be let to sleep on her bed during the daytime, because her bed was like a second story of the 2-story bed. And basically, if you are assigned to the second floor of this bed, you're not allowed to sleep during the day. So she would literally stay or sit on the floor all the time for already more than a year. There is at least 15 other female prisoners in the same cell, and they are not really supportive of her because she attracts attention of all those prison guards, and that's why she kind of triggers other prisoners, because they are being watched more than they would be without her in a prison. Thanks to my investigators and prosecutors, the information I spread was known to thousands of people in Russia and around the world. If I hadn't been arrested, only one grandma, a cashier, and a security guard at the Перекресток store would have known this information. However, we have to understand that every sentence like this to a political prisoner is like a message from the government to the rest of citizens. In a letter from pre-trial detention center, Alexandra wrote, "It turns out that I embody everything that the Putin's regime strongly disapproves of: creativity, pacifism, LGBTQ+, psychoeducation, feminism, humanism, and love for everything bright, controversial, and unusual. Well, not only she represents everything what Putin hates, she also has a Ukrainian surname, because her surname, Skochilenko, ends with a ko in the end. It means the surname originated from Ukraine. Moreover, she herself said that she has relatives in Ukraine. 16th of November 2023, Vasily Ostrovsky court in St. Petersburg sentenced Alexandra Skochilenko for 7 years in prison for spreading the fakes about Russian military. A lot of people, friends, activists, politicians, came to support Sasha in her court, and that's what they shouted after the decision of the court was announced. Sasha had a lot to say in her final words in front of the judge. The state prosecutor has repeatedly mentioned that my actions are extremely dangerous for society and the state. How weak must be a prosecutor's faith in our state and society if they believe that our statehood and public safety can be compromised by 5 small pieces of paper? By 5 pieces of paper, she means those anti-war messages on the price tags. I'm a pacifist. Pacifist has always existed. They are a special kind of people who consider life with the highest value of all. We believe that any conflict can be resolved peacefully. I can't even kill a spider. I'm scared to imagine taking someone's life. Wars are initiated by warriors, but peace comes thanks to pacifists. And when you imprison pacifists, you delay the long-awaited day of peace. And yes, she's absolutely right. When they jail pacifists, how many of the non-pacifists are gonna be out there spreading their takes, their pro-war takes? How many more Russian lives, and what's more important, Ukrainian lives who are defending themselves, how many of those lives are gonna be wasted pointlessly? I believe deep down, even the state prosecutor doesn't want this. I think he came to the prosecutor's office to imprison real criminals and villains, killers and rapists, abusers of minors, but it turned out completely different. The need is to imprison those who should be imprisoned by the opinion of the government, and that's the key to moving up the career ladder. It's a system that has been established. Let's not pretend otherwise now. And yes, she's exactly right. I remember seeing this episode from one of the documentary movies that was filmed about her in prison. One of the workers of the court asked one of the journalists, like, what is this case about? Why is there are so many people and why is it important? And, they explained that it's basically a girl that put 5 anti-war price tags, and that's it, and she is facing up to 10 years in jail, and even a person who worked in the court was surprised. Really? Can we get jail for this right now in Russia? Sasha Skochilenko is one of the hundreds and thousands of political prisoners in Russia who were oppressed and put in jail because of their anti-war position against the war in Ukraine. Amnesty International called Alexandra the prisoner of conscience. Human rights organization Memorial called her a political prisoner, and BBC in 2022 included Sasha Skochilenko in the list of 100 of most inspiring and influential women in the world. There is a really great documentary movie about Sasha and this whole case. It has English subtitles, it's made by the Current Times, it's in Russian, but you still can watch it with English subtitles. The link is going to be in the description below, or you should pull up somewhere here. Thank you for watching the video. If you like what I do, there are different ways to support me through Patreon or through PayPal. Links are in the description below. As usual, I wish there's going to be peace in Ukraine and freedom in Russia. See you in the next videos.
Не надо хлопать, будет протокол, понимаете? И тут же рассмотрим их быстро. Не надо хлопать.